Welcome to Auntie's Court. Court is now in session.
All right. We have a case of, listen, there's a lot of buzz going around right now with these damn pastors. I don't know what the hell's going on. Mercury and retrograde, Gatorade, I don't know. Run video.
Next week, I am asking that all church members bring a copy of your tax returns so that I can review them. I'm going to put a stop to some of y'all playing in my face during tithes and offerings on Sunday morning. Amen.
So this is one of many, right? We've seen, I guess, over the last couple of years, different variations of pastors with these demands about money. I feel like it's blasphemous. Stand that there's a way, when you're in the church, you tithe. I get that. But don't ever want to feel pressured in terms of the amount that I should be giving. I will share a short story. There was a time way back when I went to a church. It wasn't my church, but I went to a church with a family member. And this family, and they were praising this pastor. And I get up there. I get in there. I was following his word. It was going to a left and the right and the this and the that. But I'm following. When it came down to the end of the service, he literally said, passing that little bucket around, and he was like, you need to put in there. He said, I don't want nothing in that's gonna make noise. Don't put nothing in there that's gonna make noise.
Then that clink clink.
So my family member was they laughing. Oh, Pastor, you so funny. they throwing in whatever. That turned me off so bad when the bucket came up. Don't tell me. I'm dead ass. I don't like that. Now, my church, I give, but I don't ever want to feel. And then to me, that you already are showing me your true colors. I don't like that. I don't like, and I don't think it's good for the church as a whole. And I was looking at the congregation, including my family members, because people get fucked up into that. And I was looking at that. It gave me a view of religion differently. So I'll pause there. That's my take on it.
Yeah. I had similar experience. Also, not a church I was a member of. I was a church I was vetting, see if I wanted to become a member of this church or whatever. And one of my family members was a member of this church. And I went to the service. Service was good. The message was good. I came around to pass around for the offering. And they got the offering. They counted it there on the spot. Oh, come on. I know we can do this.
Wow.
So I'm looking like, then first time I went back again. I was like, okay, let me still feel this out, see how it's going. I message, I got fed what I needed to get fed that day as far as the messaging was concerned. Went back again. Now talking about that, they're trying to fast forward this whole joining the church kind of thing. What's your annual salary? That's none of your business, number one. Then also in the service talked about...
Wait, excuse me. They asked for your information during service?
Not during service, not in front of the congregation. Okay. This is when they're talking about...
when you want to join. When you want to join.
That was that conversation. But there was other experiences that either before or after the conversation, I can't remember because this was some time ago, where a message was... They were collecting money to send pastor and wife on an anniversary trip. Why is the congregation responsible for that? Because furthermore, both of them were actually still actively working regular jobs. Their sole job was not being pastors at this church. Then a message was, God will take care of all your expenses. God will pay your rent. God will put food on your table, which is all true. It's not a lot, but not at the expense of me tithing in the church in that way. You follow the tithing process. You follow what it means, what it is you're supposed to do as far as tithing, but not feeling like you're being bullied into it. Like you're being told to neglect taking care of your house and home, the place where you got to go lay down every night and you got to put food on the table, not only for yourself, but your kids. I was like, I'm done. And the thing, like, I just had a problem with organized religion from that point on. I'm like, you all know how I feel. Me and my God, what religion we have. Organized religion definitely put a taste in my mouth that I can't get past it. I've tried. I have members who are very active in the church, and I patronize and I do support in that way, but I just can't.
You guys already know how I feel. I've mentioned this numerous times. I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. There was no passing around asking for tithe or anything like that. how you gave was people would actually offer their skill set. If there was any type of construction that needed to be done to our church, there was people there that did the work. That was how they donated their time. Or when we bought like pamphlets and things like that, that money is what's used towards things like that. But when I stopped going and tried to find another church, I didn't like how people were being judged, how they went about trying to get people to give money. And the one experience that I think I mentioned before, there was a Baptist church that I was going up around my area, and the pastor and his wife moved to Atlanta. So now I'm back after 3 years of going to this particular church, trying to find another location. So my girlfriend told me, someone that I work with said that they had service on Sunday and she invited me to come. I go with her to service. An hour in, the collection plate is coming around, but they also have it now where you have the credit card machines where they come around and take your money. So it's not my church. I normally wouldn't give but I gave $20. They, I guess, printed off who gave what at the end before the service is even over now, and came back to the front and started calling people out.
Oh.
And started walking back around to these people with the machine, asking them to give more money. And then he had the nerve to come up in front of me and say, well, it looks like you're living well. You can give more. I said, but I already gave $20. And this is all during service.
Wait, you look like you're living well?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Because he actually saw me driving in.
Okay.
And you know what I drive.
Okay.
So Tim, I'm living well because I have that. So I kindly grabbed my thing and said, excuse me to him, and walked out.
Yeah.
And never went back to that church. But it's just the point of how they go about calling people out. You don't know who has what. Even if it wasn't for me, you calling out other people who clearly, one of them had 5 kids with them. The husband wasn't there, so she was there alone with the kids. That in itself, how you know she has more money to give you?
Right.
Now, I didn't hear what she gave, but it's just a mere point. You calling her out during service in front of a room full of people, making them feel less than because you're not satisfied with what they gave.
All churches are not necessarily like this, right?
No,
We're seeing a lot of it. We've seen the whole thing with Marvin Sapp closing the damn doors, saying shut them doors. But I will share. So my mom, her church, I used to go there. Granted, the church has to be kept up, right? Of course. Bills have to get paid, all that kind of stuff. So the church that my mom went to, what they would do, the members would throw fundraisers.
Yes.
They'd have fish fries, they have all those things, whatever. That's money coming out of members' pockets to buy the supplies, to sell the things, to raise the funds. To me, that's a feel-good story of the whole purpose is trying to maintain the church building.
That's what I
understand. Some of these pastors, that is their full-time job. So you understand these things. But when you see stuff like this, it makes people, it's like, how do you expect to bring people to the church? How do you expect to have people come and go to the church and fellowship when you're doing things like this?
Yeah, I can't get behind it. And as both you know, I used to frequently go to church, but the church I ended up going to, and the only reason why I don't attend now is because of proximity is just too far. Doing amazing things. They built a whole entire building. But even back when I was going, they would, as your kid was going to college, it was no question they were getting some sort of scholarship
from the church. Yeah.
And again, it's all based on the tithes from the members. But you want to give for them.
You know what you're tithing for. You know what it's doing.
Yeah. For that, I'm good with that. Where these greedy pastors, I don't even know, but I can't get with that. I can't. So when Drewski did the whole, when Drewski, I don't know, I'm sure most of you seen it. When he went and did his whole thing, variety of different pastors, I thought it was hilarious because there's truth in it. Like there's so much truth in it. And he was getting so much flack. I'm like, he gets down to a science.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just feel like, I feel bad for the folks in the congregation. I can't see past the nonsense.
Yeah.
There's a church that's in Jersey right now that I had visited. This was like 3 years ago. And if I was living close by, I would go frequent that church. But the way their setup is, everybody is not 10%. They ask that they contribute this amount and it's going into a pool. They have a bank They have a scholarship fund where money is going out to children that's coming up in the church to help pay for college. They had an account for the elderly to help them with their expenses and things. I mean, the things that they were doing, and you can clearly see the pastor and his wife, they weren't taking advantage of what was being given. We're not there to support them. They were actually putting in their money and helping this out.
Rolling up in their Rolls voices.
What? It would make you want to go to church and even services during the week because of the things that they were doing. That's the stuff that I like to see. When you go to another church where you got a Rolls Royce outside, wearing a Rolex, wife got the fur on and the big ass diamonds on her chest, but then you got a leak in the bathroom and you got stuff going on in the back of the church. Where the money going? But you expecting people to be giving up their hard-earned money who's not living like you because you living off of us to keep service going. I just, every time I think about stuff like that, it drives me crazy.
Well, I guess, at the end of the day,
I'm not giving you my tax returns. That's where we going with this.
I think, there's going to be some naysayers. There's going to be some people that say, you ain't Christian, like you a devil, where you Satan and all this, because we're not getting behind that message. And that's fine. People going to believe what they want to believe. Again, do what you want, give what you can give. If y'all want to go into those types of church, rock on. It's your life. We've been saying this entire episode, your life, do you.
And I have a request for anybody out there in the audience. If you can give me 2 scriptures where it says you're supposed to give 10% of your money, please share it in the comments and I will go look it up.
Okay.
I can say, why are you looking up yourself? No.
Because I've asked this question repeatedly and nobody can give me a scripture. So I'm hoping somebody apparently it's in the Bible that it says you're supposed to give 10%.
You take it to AI?
No, I didn't.
Probably you're supposed to tithe, but
bottom line is I'm going to give what I feel is correct. And I'm not giving nobody my tax returns for you to figure out what I should be giving you. No, that's not happening.
A church audit. You are being audited by the church.
Because he said he's playing with me. I know y'all.
Playing in my face. Yep.
All right now. Shoot.
So I guess it's clear that we have all deemed this pastor guilty.
Guilty, child. In this case, you guilty. Ain't nobody. Go ahead. But we say guilty, but I'm sure there's gonna be some other people that's going.
Yeah.
And y'all rock on, and y'all go ahead and give them your tax returns and all that jazz, and give them all your money. Go ahead, do it.